Ever since I grew up, when I was a kid, we used to always play in the woods. We'd be up in the morning straight down to the woods, and we wouldn't be back till sort of 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. We were very lucky where we grew up. There was a big wood there and there was a lake there, so we could go fishing, enjoy all that type of thing. Always fancied buying a wood. Often see the advertising boards on the side of the road, and you'd come back and look on the computer and see what's for sale and think, well, that looks nice. And then we were in a fortunate situation to be able to do something and actually go forward with something. Found something we liked, phoned up the agent. I spoke to Dan a couple of times on the phone. We came down, met up for a couple of hours, walked around, decided where the boundaries were going to be, worked out how much it was going to be, and did the deal there and then. So it couldn't be any simpler. It took about 8 weeks for every week to go through, time we had searches done, so we had a bit of time to think about what we were doing. Thought we'd like to do the boundaries first. We did a load of deadwood hedging around the site to make it secure, because we do a lot of youth work, so we want to try and make some form of boundary so that they can't run into other people's pieces of wood. So I've made a composting toilet, continued on fencing. We planted some oak, wild cherry, hornbeam, alder, lime and crack willow. We've got an area of what I'd call plantation. We've also got an area that's coppice in, so there's a lot of hazel in that area. We've got a nice area that runs around the field boundary, so you've got the light coming into the edge of the wood. Some mature oaks there, some nice sycamores, and going into beech and rowan. We're trying to think of trees that would be good for wildlife, like so you've got the cherries would be great, and they're a fantastic flowering tree, and you've got the berries for that. So we're looking at what was here as well. We knew that it would be sustainable. We put up some parachutes. I made myself a little workshop underneath one parachute, and we've got another parachute up that we've got an archery range, and it's a little teach areas for kids to get underneath if they want to have a little fire. Put a little sand trap down so we can see what's coming through the site. That's quite nice. Planted a load of Christmas trees, made a few hurdles. What we've done is 2 of us every weekend for the last 4 months. I've got a bit of fascination at the moment about Ötzi the Iceman, who was born probably 5,400 years ago. I'm fascinated about the technology and how clever these guys were. They knew about plants, they knew about how to use natural fibres to make string, to make clothes. It's just fantastic. Yeah, really interested.
And here you are being able to try all that stuff out.
Absolutely, yeah. It's my passion, I think, to build a roundhouse and actually practice some of the primitive crafts.
You're actually made up, aren't you? I can see the glee
yeah, I love it, yeah.
Actually.
Yeah, I love it. I reckon it's fantastic, yeah.
I was brought up in the Highlands of Scotland with Mum and Dad, and he was a forestry worker. It was always there, and it was always an ambition of mine to actually own my own wood. And I kept on sort of thinking about it and putting it off, and then other things would come up, and one thing and another, and then I was thinking about it not so long ago, and then of course events overtook and Billy died. I just had a look around to see what I could afford in my budget, and this one was right there. And literally it hurt the eyes. It was just this sea of purpley blue. It was stunning. There was very little foliage on the trees and everything, and the whole lot was sort of just knee high in bluebells. It was perfect, and that was a clincher. I went on the website and I clicked a few buttons, and here we are. It was done and dusted within, I think, 4 weeks. It's perfect, it's spot on. My nephew, he's in the army, and he's done a couple of tours in Afghanistan, and his wife was also in the army, and she did 2 tours. She was a medic, and they've both seen horrendous things. He's now got PTSD. This will also be a quiet place for them. If Dan can get over his panic attacks and get himself in the car, he can have a key, and he can come over here whenever he needs.
Feels so good.
There's no point in wishing, because it's too late. All right. Thank you. I've got to have peace and quiet in order to function. I was never married, I never wanted children, but I do have nieces and nephews who have children. So I have great nieces and nephews and great nieces and nephews. And some of them are outdoorsy and some of them are very much, oh, do I have to? Yes. I think I'm going to just go for a season to see what happens. What's doing what and what needs doing. I'll do a little bit of tidying. I do go on a lot of courses myself because I love learning new things. So if I have my shed and I've got my workbench in there, I can do all sorts of things. At the moment it's sanctuary. It really is very much so for me. It's peace and quiet. We worked really well together, and this is something that he would have initially balked at the amount of money I spent. But once he'd have come down here and seen what it was like, he would have loved every second of it, and he would have been down here at every opportunity. I know he would.